Hello everyone, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to start off by sort of showing you a little bit of what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to actually get stuck into it and speed the whole video up. I thought this might be a different way to do things. I'm at some point going to attempt to do a voiceover to see whether this works, but we'll see what happens. So I've got Mr. Funny Bones, which is hysterical, of course, from Stampin' Up! That I'm going to use, and I've also got the labeler, if I've said that right, alphabet from Stampin' Up! And we're going to make this portion of this video will be the front, you know, the piece that's going to go in the front part of the, what am I trying to say, the main topper for the card. So I'm going to crack on with that and probably speed this bit up. But before I go, well, I'm not going anyway, but you know what I mean. This is the powder tool, and I'm going to be using a Brilliance ink pad and some embossing powder to really make the skeleton stand out. So this should be a fun card, but we'll see what happens. So skeleton so far. Funny looking thing. I've gone back to my Versamark just because, I don't know, that Brilliance ink pad is just not quite, I don't think it's inky enough. So there's some areas that didn't, I mean it doesn't matter because it's a Halloween and it's a you know, skeleton, so it doesn't really matter, but it bothers me. So right, which way do I want this? So I've got this cool like banner stamp. Oh, and I didn't do the. So I've got that, and then I've got these plain ones. So I'm just gonna eyeball this bit as well. Maybe I should do one bit at a time. Oh God. Ooh. Oh, not enough angle. Not quite enough angle, but that's okay. I'm just going to heat set these. Right, so I've got my little teeny tiny little stamps. I don't know if you can see them on there. And I'm just going to make sure I've got the right one. That one, this little guy. Oops. Get some more embossing powder on them. I need to fix this one because I kind of went a bit mad. As long as you do that before you heat emboss, you'll be fine. So last bit of heat embossing on this baby, and there's the front panel starting to come together. Booyah! So next thing I want to do, I think it needs some sort of colour. So what I might do is get my what are those things called? Can't think. I've got some pearly paints, so like I think they're Cosmic Shimmer ones, and there happen to be an autumn colouring, so I'm going to get some of those, and I think I'm just going to colour like the banner and the pumpkin and just get some colour in the background. I also want to ground him because he kind of looks a bit like he's just floating in midair. So if he was a ghost he'd be fine, but he's not. So yeah, I want to get him somewhat grounded, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So right, so I've got a Cosmic Shimmer watercolour paint, and this is the pale russet. I've honestly had these for about 8 years, and you can see there's tons of stuff in here, but this is a really neat you know, really cool kind of paint to use. So I'm just going to add some water. Oh. Getting it everywhere. And I've got my heatproof mat here, and I've actually got it attached to a and it seems a little funny, but I've got it attached to a clipboard. Just makes it work, just helps. So this is pale russet. I don't know if this is going to be too orangey. Sorry, orange is what I want. I don't know if I need more. Let's see, let's get this is the Autumn Twist colour. So this is more of a gold. So let's see, maybe if I combine the two, I think that's gonna, the russet's gonna be too, what's the word, like too red. Let's see, I don't know. Oh. I have a feeling this isn't going to be orange enough for me. Let's just go with it. What's the worst that can happen? So I want to paint his face. You don't have to be super careful with this because the embossed parts will create a resist, but I'm not going to purposefully go over them, just so that they you know, just to make sure that I don't get any areas I don't want. I'm just going to turn this slightly. I'm just going to do all of these as well, but you see I've gone over that one and it's resisted the colour. So Let's just go over that. Really easy, really simple. That's the same thing. And my boo. The nice thing about going over them, even if they get some ink on the, so if I go over here, where there's cardstock underneath the embossing powder, which there is some showing up, it will resist that. It will attach itself to that cardstock that's exposed underneath. So these kind of like crackled, it's not a smooth finish. Having said that, I'm also going to use the white pearl and just see if I can get, if I go over this little skeleton guy. Oh, I've still got some pink on there. Let's see if I can get it to, no, it's not working at all. That plan didn't work. That's alright. Let's get that off. Just lift it off. Right, so what you'll be left with is a hopefully you can see some of the shimmer. Somewhat of an orangey shimmer across here, and your little skeleton dude. Right, the other thing I wanted to do, like I said, was create, in fact I might use this, was create a bit of a, no I'm not, was to create something so it looks like he's not standing on his, he's not just floating in the air, you know, as you do. So I'm just gonna go across here. Add a bit more water if you need to. Just helps to move the shimmery stuff. Now, this isn't, oh, I can't lift that. This isn't a watercolour paper. I don't know if you can get black watercolour paper, but obviously because it's not, it's gonna warp. So when we put this on the card, we'll have to make sure that we actually put lots of adhesive at the back so that it holds it down. If you're using foam tape, that'll work too, but just put lots of it, and it'll help to straighten it out. But there's sort of that whole thing. I think I need something else in the background though. I feel like he's still just like not really doing anything, if you know what I mean. So what I might do, just clean up a little. Ooh. Is I might grab an acrylic block, and I'm gonna grab, this is just Midnight, oh no I don't, black, I don't want the white one. Get some water. Right, so I've got a couple different things. I've got, I don't know if I'm going to use those, but I've got the Tim Holtz Distress Picket Fence stain, which I'll shake up in a minute, and then I've also got my spray that I made using an India ink, and this is just the white India ink. This is obviously diluted, so I may just get a couple drops of the undiluted India ink, or I may just use this. No, let's get the thing with India ink is that it's movable while it's wet, so you can manipulate it and move it around. As soon as it dries, it's permanent, it won't move, so when you add more water it won't move at all. So that's the neat thing, whereas your Distress or your you know, like the Cosmic Shimmers, the watercolour paints, those sort of things will move if you add any more water, or if you reactivate it with water. So I think I'm going to get the other one. Right, so this is just India ink. This is just white, that's what it's called. Let's see if I can open this. And you've got like a little pipette thing. So I'm just going to, this is going to look a little odd. Oh, what's happened to him? There you go. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a dryish brush. You also don't want one that's got too, well, you could use just a dry brush. Bear in mind I've not done this yet, till now. And you're just going to flick it off there and onto your card. Let's see, let's hope this works for me. Awesome, that worked. Look at that. That's such a cool technique. I saw that first on Christina Warner's website, blog, and YouTube channel, and then I also saw it on Amy R's. So that's really neat. That would look lovely if you did that in white. That would look fab for a Christmas card as well, like snow falling. But I think that's kind of mental. So let me just mop up some of this. When I got it on my desk. Hey ho. And it doesn't take that long to dry either. Obviously you want to get it off your acrylic blocks as soon as you can, because you don't want it drying on there. So I'll get that cleaned off there. So that's that. And then, because I think everything needs more, kind of want to use the black ink as well. Let's experiment with this guy. So this is just water. This is the Midnight Black Cosmic Shimmer. I'm just going to squirt some water into that, if it will let me, like so. And I'm going to do a similar thing, but this time I'm going to just, take the ink out of the pot, and you can do this as well. You could put this on the oh, you could put it on your block actually. If you put enough on there, you could probably do a similar thing. So let's try this. Yeah, and it works. This is so cool. I feel like I've got more control where I'm flicking. Whereas if you're just doing it like this, which is kind of old school, one, you have no control over where that ink goes, and two, it doesn't always go in a sort of nice pattern, if that makes sense. Anyway, so that worked. Just grab a baby wipe, I think, just to clear some of this off. I don't want it wrecking my my blocks. So that's that bit. So I'm gonna heat set that or let it dry. I haven't decided yet. I don't know how impatient I'm gonna be. The black will be shimmery, so that should add to that. And what I'll do, I'll come back and I will put the card together for you. So I'll just let that dry and then I'll be back. Right, so I'm going to take my this piece, and I remembered that I hadn't actually joined these guys, so they're just like that. Again, look like they're floating there. So I'm going to use a jelly roll pen. This is just a white jelly roll, and I'm just going to get it moving. Well, you can't see that, I don't think. And I'm just going to draw some lines in here. Nothing fancy, just drawing, just to kind of link them together so that they look like they're meant to be hanging. Although I stamped these two middle ones a little too straight, so they don't quite look like they should, but doesn't matter. And I probably, oh yeah, and I stamped that one too far off, so it's, the idea was that it went from there. Oh, that's what I should have done. So we can do that same thing on this side, just to even it up. Make it look like it was meant to be. So I'm just going to put that side to one side just to sort of dry a bit. And I've got a piece of basic black cardstock for Stampin' Up, and I have, it's 11 by 4 1/4, and I'm just going to score this at 5 1/2. Have you noticed from my other videos that all my Halloween cards are black? All the bases. So there's the base. I then have some of our, I think it's called Halloween Night DSP, pattern papers, designer series papers, what they're called, DSP. And I'm going to use this stripy side. This is the one I thought of when I thought of this, but this guy would work really well. The only thing is you're not going to see the bats really, so I kind of felt like I'd missed too much of that. So, and this was the original idea anyway. So I'm just going to stick that to the base here. Or am I? Am I going to do that yet? Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, it was a bit noisy. So this is going to be a top folding card, which I don't normally do that many top folding cards. I prefer side folding cards. Why won't this fit on here? Yeah, somewhat straight. Maybe I didn't cut it out properly. Right, so this guy, I'm now just going to, this isn't even basic black cardstock, this is actually the packaging off of some other stuff that I had. So I'm just gonna eyeball this. And like I said earlier, you need to put a lot of adhesive, especially that this wasn't actually watercolour paper. So I'm just going to put a ton of foam tape all over it, sticking it everything. And especially in the middle, because you don't want, when it's on your card, you don't want the middle to sag. Make sure you've got it opening the right way, because Yep, I've done that too. I've stuck it on back to front or upside down, or, you know, it's not a nice thing, is it? So that's what we got going on there. Bit of dimension. Ta-da. Right, I have these little, these are actually, they're little bats, but they're actually confetti, like table confetti, but I thought they would work really, really well. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Up, make sure it's okay, fine tip glue, and I think I'm just going to put a couple dots of glue, just sort of randomly. Make sure, make sure I put that in straight away, because it does tend to dry quite quickly, so I can never pick these things up. And so for table, oops. For table, I've smeared that all over there, lovely. For table confetti, that's kind of neat, don't you think? And you can use table confetti, kind of like sequins type thing. So I think I'm going to leave it there. So, booyah. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you soon. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Not sure when that'll be, but I'll see you then. Bye.